A 岛及 Phoenix 为了来 Remnant 二代的游戏开荒视频。那上期呢是打了一个支线的一个地牢，然后结果的结束的时候，那边那个 NPC 是给我们讲故事，一下感觉讲的比这个地牢的探索还要长。不过倒是有奖励，他给了我们一个护符，有意思啊。就是你武器的持续，它那个技能的持续时间增长50%，但是呢，消耗也增加15%。像这种子弹的话，相当于是好像是持续20秒，也就是会能变成30秒，消耗只增加15%，就相当于是一个纯爆发的东西。我感觉这个东西我能想到的一个作用就是你的伤害输出，如果是能，这边我是平均下来应该是一个15%的一个伤害奖励。如果是能延长10秒的这边子弹 buff， 我能在一个输出的 window 下把这个 boss 打过的话，相当于是应该会更好。或者是可能有些其他的我们家还没有发现的有些武器插件，可能也是会更好。这边我发现2代的这些各种奇奇怪怪的护符什么的也是非常的多。另外我记得好像是这个武器的，也不是这个武器，我之前是不是打了一个新的 mode， 是一个肉搏武器的？对，新的一个，就是蓄力攻击的耐力消耗降低25%。满级的话是增加15的伤害跟10的暴击，这个是不会被打断。别的东西啊，还有一个新的 trade， 这个，这是一个召唤物的生命，可以最多加100，好吧？我觉得我还是先存一点技能，感觉上这边这个游戏的这些 trade 它应该是比1代的要少，我猜。那可能是戒指变多了，所以说这个 trade 变少了。1代我记得就是你随便，就是你随便做点什么就能获得一个奇奇怪怪的一些技能，但是有些技能可能不太好使。但是这代我猜可能是稍微改了一下，像上一期结束的时候说是等于是我想回来先把你的故事再听完。
Don't think I told you this one yet. So, I gotten separated from the Crazy Eight, my gang, you see. We've been chased by these big old deadwood, taller than a man with 10 times as many pointy bits. Whew, nasty fellers. The others, they holed up in this old scrap building and slammed the door. Left me for dead. There was no way in, but I,
好啊，那
What? Oh, let me see here. There was no way in, but there are these old pipes underground. Sewage, judging by the stink. But I weren't gonna stay out there with Deadwood creeping round, so I held my breath and crawled through what must have been half a mile. I come busting out of the pipes and right into the middle of the Crazy Eight. They were holding me a funeral. I stand up, covered in mud and God knows what else, and just smile at them. And that, friend, is where I got the name Mudtooth.
有意思。
Oh, here's a good one. I've been telling tales about the Ford family for years. I tell you, nothing about them surprises me no more. Like old Commander Ford, one who used to run this here ward, she was the youngest of the family. She's the one what brought most of this town together. They say she's dead and buried, but they don't know the truth of it. See, the old commander were the youngest, but she ain't the last. Old Ford, her grandpa, is still kicking here in town. Crazy old man went and fought the Deadwood head on and lived. Her grandmother was half Root herself. Folks used to call her the Root Mother.
Oh.
She were a twisted one, let me tell you. The thing about the Fords is they can't die. Not a single damn one of them. I mean, look, they all thought old Ford had died long ago, and there he is, plain as day. I don't care what anyone says. I swear to you on my unborn brother's life, the other Fords are still out there somewhere too.
这也是真的是又提示了一下，这是一代 Root Mother 也是出现的，我都总之都给忘记了。
Let's see. Oh, you've been introduced to that girl Clementine. Powerful woman she is, but she weren't always so. She's near as old as Ford is, if you can believe it. Even older than my old bones. How about it? Those two have a lot in common, including traveling to other worlds. You see, she was born on Earth, but Clementine spent 100 years on a snow world called Resome. They call it that on account of some you read and some you don't. Anyway, what was she doing all that time? Training. See, Resome's full of giant talking rats. You got warrior rats and midwife rats and even mystic rats. Clementine, she learned under the tutelage of a two-headed mystic named Sebum. Taught her everything she knows. She don't talk about it, of course, on account of Sebum's a wanted man. The rat, I guess. But it's God's own truth. I met the man myself, the rat. This one's 100% true. Crazy 8 traveled a lot after leaving Sanctuary. Came to this one town named Ghostwell. No, Oak Hole. No, wait. It was Swan Creek. Swan Creek, I'm sure of it. Anyway, this Croakswell town didn't take kind to strangers, and that sure as hell meant us. We stayed anyway, of course. Brought 'em good scrounge, we did. Nobody scavenged like the Crazy 8. And there was this girl, smartest damn girl you ever met. Her old man, though, he didn't like us one bit, especially me. So, one day, there's a banging on our doorstep, and I go to open it, and...
哎，这个
Her old man, though, he didn't like us one bit, especially me. One day, there's a banging on our doorstep. I open the door, and the girl's old man clocks me with the butt of his shotgun. Knocked out one of my teeth, he did. Then he points the gun in my face and starts shouting, "Which one of you assly hoes got her in the family way?" he says. "I know it was one of you." Well, I ain't gonna argue with a man behind a gun. So I looks around, sees my tooth in the mud, and says, "Mudtooth, he's the one you're after." And off he ran after someone who don't exist. Or didn't exist, I guess. We ditched Ghost Crack that day, but the name came with me. And that's the story of how Brabus was born. Except he weren't born yet, was he? Not born then. The other thing. Conceptualize.
好吧。
Ho, 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 ho! Here's a good one. I do miss the days when you could find the stuff the old world used to make. Canned foods, spiced chocolates, electronical music boxes. Oh, found this old can of what's-it once. As in, we literally did not know what was in it. The can weren't open, but the label had long rubbed off. Finding that was like all our birthdays at the same time. That can must have been 100 years old, banged up and bloated. Could have been anything in there. So, my boys did what any good family would do. They dared me to drink it. Well, I ain't one to back down from something stupid. So, I grabbed the can and said something sensually flattering about their mamas. Then, I popped the top. Woohoo! Damn stuff hissed and fizzled like some kind of brown sludge demon. Smelled like one, too. I chugged the whole damn thing. The thick goop tasted like scented sewer water. Burned my brain like a chili pepper. I nearly puked with each swallow, but I weren't gonna give them the satisfaction. When I threw the can aside, the boys cheered. I opened my mouth, flashed them a smug smile, and my teeth was all stained the darkest mud brown you ever seen. Ha, they stayed that way for at least a month. And that's where I got my name.
你这个名字已经3次了。
Let's see. Oh, I ever tell you how the world fell in the first place? Well, sit down, friend, 'cause there ain't no one knows what really happened but me. It started in them wars, see? Secret military-industrial complexes and whatnot. That's where they made all the weapons and did their experiments. Now, the root weren't meant to reproduce, see? They was built as a weapon, but then they done breeded and got out. Well, we all know what happened after that. Only reason the root stopped was 'cause the Wanderer, well, he flamethrower-sized their queen, see? Over in that tower on the atoll, so's they couldn't breed no more. Now, listen. You might hear Ford tell you something different, but you look at the two of us and ask which has obviously been around longer. Which of us is most like to have been there, huh? You ask yourself that, and then you just look my way, 'cause that's who it is.
我怎么觉得是
Sure can. Well, let's see. Ah, there's an old man what lives at the center of a maze. Or does he live at the gate to the maze? I don't matter. This old man sees everything. And I don't mean like he can see whatever he wants when he wants. I mean, he sees everything all at once. That ain't all. The old man in the maze is also, he
这次试一试比较 gentle 的。
Let me see here. That ain't all. The old man in the maze is a maker. The maze, see, is like a spider web full of doors, stretching its threads every which way. And this watcher man sits at the center, and he don't just watch. He makes. Where there ain't a door, he makes one. And then he makes what's on the other side of it, too. Oh, I can see on your face you ain't buying it. But I tell you, this earth of ours is just one door in a dozen hundred. And if in this maze watcher decides he wants someplace to end, all he got to do is snap a thread, and poof, no more door, no more world. Don't think I told you this one yet. You met old Wally yet? The boy ain't right, but not in a mudder way. He just ain't right. Talks to the root, he says. I reckon I know why, too. I ain't never told him this, but I was there at his birth. Don't believe me? You wouldn't be the first, but it's true. That boy Wally was born under a blood moon. Always strange, they say. Harbinger of changeification and whatnot. I heard him cry out his first breath I did, and I says to myself, that ain't natural. Like the squall of some blackbird. Caw! Oh, don't tell him I said it. He wouldn't believe it anyway. Or maybe he would, come to think of it. You talked to him yet? Boy ain't right. You'll like this one. Let me tell you what those folks are up to in that atoll, that Ward 10 and 7. That was where they did their experimenting, see? They made weapons for the USA. That's what this land was called back then. And the root, you see. They were cloned. Yes, sir. They found root D and A trapped in red amber, and they done built themselves an army. But this army, it got out of hand and turned against them. Couldn't tell the difference between the Usanayans and whatever else there was. Pretty good weapon, if you ask me. Nigh on slaughter the whole damn world. Makes you think, though. What else were them Usanayans capable of? Maybe it's for the best they ain't around no more.
他第一个说什么乌色，他那个字幕我还都没有意识到。
Oh, it's about the time. My own damn son left me to die. Oh, don't worry, I'm still here, ain't I? Or he went to get some grub for us or whatever, I don't know. Point is, I was alone in the darkened woods with nothing but my rifle. We was on our way from the city to our new home in the ward here, carrying all my earthly possessions and all that, and Brabus, he up and leaves me in the middle of the night. And that's when I heard. No, I'm awake. I was attacked. 20. No. 50 deadwood come crashing through the trees. We thought they was all dead and gone, but they were just a-waiting for old Mudtooth to leave his helio chopper. Now, I may be an old mudder, but I ain't no pushover. I blasted them down, left and right, laughing all the time. I was winning until something snuck up on me and concustipated me upside the head. I don't mind telling you, I thought I was done for. Then a growling starts. Deadwood back off, and I look up to see a dog there tearing them apart, literal limb from non-metaphorical limb. We fought the rest off together, that dog and I thought to myself, now there's a mudder what's got some teeth. Turns out he just wanted some of my stew. You'll like this one. You want to know the truth about young Bo over there? To start off with, the boy ain't all that young. I mean, sure, he ain't nothing to old Mudtooth, but ain't a lot of folks around who remember him as a boy no more. Why is that? Well, I'll tell you. Bo Ward, he made a deal with the Wanderer. Don't believe me? It was Bo who met the Wanderer at old Ward 10 and 3. And it was Bo who took him over to that Ward Goose Egg, the one where the root started. And he won't admit it, but it was Bo what rescued Clementine and shut the door on the dead wood for good. The boy's more than he tells, and a good deal more than he knows. Why else would folks around here put him in charge of everything?
这是一代的 后来那个 DLC 的剧情嘛，都太久之前都已经忘记了。
Here's a good one. Ain't no one on this planet more beautiful or dangerous than the Moth Queen. She rules an old swamp about 100 miles off in, that direction. Folks say if you climb one of these here towers on a clear night, you can see the swamp lights a-flashing. But them ain't no ordinary swamp lights. And she ain't no ordinary queen. She don't lead her people, who really ain't even people, come to think of it. Anyways, the Moth Queen draws her folk to her like like a moth, I guess. That's how the saying goes. Anyway, she captures folks with her beauty and her mothy pulchrituditude, and she never lets them go. She infects their mind so they never want to leave, and she turns them into something else. If you head off that way, keep your wits about you, 'cause that swamp used to be a city as big as this'n, but no more. No more.
它讲的是一代第2章那个什么 Swamp of Courses 还是叫什么那个图的那个故事。
Sure can. Well, let's see. I ever tell you about the Shrouded King? No, it ain't a book. It's real, I tell you. Real as every damn story I know. He's the king of another world, see? And his world was overrun by the root just like ours. Or at least it was gonna be. But this king, he got his, people together to I'm telling you, there weren't no horse. Huh? Oh, right. Anyways, the Shrouded King, he got his people together to draw as much power as he could from his own ding-dang-dingity son. Used it to make himself a weapon. Soon as the root showed up, he fired the damn thing. Now the king, he knew what was about to happen, but he didn't tell nobody. That weapon weren't just gonna scorch the root. No. It scorched the whole dim darn dingity world. Burned the deadwood the hell out of there. Killed half his kingdom and twisted the other half into something unrecognizable. And that's why he wears a shroud, see? Because he done twisted himself in the process. But he don't want no one to see the mangledy bits of his face parts. Here, right good listen, Tater friend. Tell you what, though, I'm a little light on the stories right now, but you look like you could use yourself some company. I got just the cure for that. And I ain't talking about my stew this time. Take this and check back with me later. I'm sure I'll have some newly re-remembered stories for you then. This is 100% true. So I was on a scrounge with the Crazy Eight. That was my gang back in the day. We came across this old hospital, see? Folks were holed up in the basement, trapped there for God knows how long. But the root had found those folks same time we did. Now the Crazy Eight, they were all for running. We got 88 problems, they'd say, and dead folks ain't one of them. But not me. I knew those folks needed help. Also, knew they had food and meds. So I fought for them, tooth and nail. Literally a-biting and a-chewing the damn deadwood off me. When it was over, the Crazy Eight come up to me, and I just smile at them, with root bits stuck all over my teeth. Looked like mud, they said. There you go, Mud Tooth. Name stuck ever since.
你的这个名字的来源好像已经4遍了，这等于是还是有故事。
Don't think I told you this one yet. You met my boy Brabus yet? He's a handful, that one. Always Got into a scrap when he was 5, he did. Knocked down a boy had to be, twice his age. And 3 to 6 times his height, at least. Well, that boy's pa didn't take it none too well. And this pa, phew, like a pair of fists with leg bones. That boy's pa wanted to take some skin out of me for it. Now, I ain't proud of what I did next, but oh, who am I kidding? I wouldn't be telling you if I weren't proud, now would I? But, like I taught Brabus, say as I do as I say. And anyways, I couldn't back down from a fight, not in front of the crazy ape. Come to think of it, that's probably how Brabus got the way he is. Anyway, I fight the man. He could have crushed my head between market and roast beef, but I aimed to win, not fight fair. I pointed, and nothing at all behind him, then smooshed a scoop of mud straight into his mouth. Then, while he was a-spitting and a-sputtering, I hit him hard. So hard that when he fell, my muddy hand came away with 3 of his teeth in it. And that, friend, is the true story of how I got the name Mudtooth.
你这名字来源好像已经5个了，这样就等于是跟我想的差不多。他就是刚才好像是我对话对到一半，然后他说我已经没故事了，然后奖励了我们一个，然后我没记错好像是一个戒指，然后说让我们是过一会儿再回来，回来是会他可能会想起更多故事，然后他马上就又接着开始讲新的故事。我猜这个可能是根据你的剧情来决定的，我猜可能是一开始可能是把这个故事只有这么多，然后你随着剧情的推进应该会解锁更多故事。现在我们应该是，总之就还是接着听故事吧。
Tell you about the time I killed 300 deadwood in one go? Ooh, that's a tale. So, I lived up in this old, Helio-Chapataka, or what you great sniper's nest. Let me pop off deadwood from a mile away. But one night, I wake up to a rustling and a howling, right? I look outside, and there's these, of course I'm awake now. But one night, I wake up to a rustling and a howling, right? I look outside, and there's deadwood all around the place. Hundreds of them. But they don't stop coming. And I'm thinking, this is finally it. But then I see tucked away behind an old building the cracked open end of an old gas main. So I squint my good eye and pray to Kennedy, Jeebus, and Cash. And I squeeze the trigger, and my bullet flies through the air like a hawk to a coney. Caw-caw! It scrapes the pipe, and boom! Whole damn horde goes up in flames. Not a single one of them left. Deadwood never did bother me after that. Don't think I told you this one yet. Back when the earth fell, a dragon, a real root dragon, took up residence over there, just like in old fairy tales. It started in them wars, see? Your eyes only hush-hush military conspiracizing farms and whatnot. That's where they made all their weapons and did them experiments. And just like those tales, it took a what now? It took a night to slay this dragon. Oh, ho, ho, but the dragon was crafty, all right. He knew the knight needed help, so the dragon gave it to him. Yep, the dragon took the form of a talking tree and told the knight if they wanted to slay that dragon, they'd have to slay all these other beasts first. A cyclops, a living statue, what do you call them? Golem. Well, the knight slayed them all. But the thing was, these beasts weren't protecting the dragon. They were holding him back. So when the dragon finally did reveal itself, it was too strong for the knight. And it took him, body and mind. and made their strength its own. Let me see here. You heard about the old wards, right? Hell, you should have. You're on top of one. The wards were where the root were born. Government experiments, you understand. Well, the oldest one, Ward Goose Egg it's called, was where it all started. And that's where it was worse, see? So this mad scientist by the name of, let me see now, what was his name? Leto was his name. He says there's only one way we can stop what we made and save the world. So he flies his heliopopper. They flew back in those days, see, that's what they were built for. And he looks down at the ward where the root are pouring out like ants. He says, blow that sucker up. And boy, they did. Blew the whole damn thing. Didn't stop the root, though. I mean, obviously. You'll like this one. This city ain't without its own tales. Why, there's a tower, see? What only appears once in a gibbous August moon. Kinda looks like a big yellow-orange pumpkin. Within that tower's a man. Except he's not a man. He's a wizard, see? And he I'm telling you, that weren't no horse. Huh? Oh, right. Anyways, and within that tower is a man. Except he's not a man. He's a wizard. See? He calls himself the Keeper, and he controls everything. I've seen him myself. Even talked to him once. Man's smart as hell. So smart, even I can't keep up with him. He says he watches over all of us. But if that's the case, then he ain't been doing such a good job. I mean, look around you. But I reckon he means well. And that tower, I think, is like a spaceship he uses to teleportate to other planets. You go walk the city and harvest Pumpkin Moon. You'll see what I mean. Let me see here. I ever tell you the secret behind my stew? Well, I ain't gonna. But I will tell you how it came to be, yeah? The original recipe comes from my ma, of course. But that ain't the end of the story. My ma made a fine stew. But it weren't nothing to tell tales about. Not until the day me and the Crazy Eight got ourselves trapped in one of them old, medieval, meditating... We was trapped in one of them medicinal compounds full of pharmaceuticals and whatever you call them. And I had nothing but a dead coffee and an onion on my belt, which weren't good for much, but were the style at the time. So we scrounged for ingredients. Well, them hospitalities ain't no good for food, but they do have some pretty mean spices lying around if you know what you're doing, which I do. That night was the best stew any of us ever had in our lives. Kept us going for days until finally the dead wood outside got bored and took off. And that, friend, is the same stew I make today. I even use the same ingredients as them back in the day medicinals. Better even.
所以就是我们实际上是一直都是一个处于嗨的状态，他吃的这些合剂嘛。
Sure can. Well, let's see. So this wanderer comes up to visit me at my heliocopter, right? They're decked out with guns, but they walk up and ask for stew and a story. I'm thinking they'll get tired, wander off, and take my story somewhere else like all the rest. But they don't. they listen to all of it. And I think to myself, this mother actually wants to hear these. Reminds me of my ma, tell you the truth, the way I'd listen to her, and the way my boy Brabus used to listen to me. Before he turned away, that wanderer reminded me of family. And that's the most important thing, ain't it? So I figured I ain't left long for this world. So I give them my wife's old watch in thanks.
哦，这是一代的一个任务。
After that, my boy Brabus comes back in person, first time in years, with a watch chain peeking out his pocket. I knew a good thing when I saw it. I didn't say nothing. Just welcomed the boy back like nothing had changed. Family's the most important thing we got in this world, young'un. Don't forget that.
哇，这个是一代的一个，我记得好像还挺难做的一个任务，就需要求还挺多。他居然提到了这个事情。
I reckon you're the best listener I've done had in years. Heck, you devoured up all my stories like
终于听完了。
folks lap up my stew. I do believe I'm all out of stories. But tell you what, there's a bit of a constellation prize. Take this. I'm guessing that'll be a mite bit more useful to you than it is to me. Tell you what, I might be out of stories, but I ain't out of stew.
像你现在有新的合计吗？还是没有？像你这个经验合计究竟是什么时候卖？一代我记得好像就只有3个，还是一代的是加血加耐力，然后还有一个加经验值还是什么？我记得一代，总之我这些肯定都是新的合计，不太清楚。就等于实际上这些合计说白了都之所以有这些效果，都是下了药的，是吧？给了一个，我记得好像我们这个 sniper 之前就是我们这个副职业的那个东西是跟你买的，有一个什么 medal 还是一个什么东西？是你吗？不是你。总之我就相当于是我现在想，这个应该是你的副职业的一个，相当于是一个锻造物品。我猜你是就是如果想买钢丝林那的这个东西，应该是找你来。想看一下，我都忘记了，没有看这个样子，好像是这个，这是什么？增加15的开火速度跟20的上弹速度，就相当于是你的并不是单发伤害更高，而是你的射速现在是可能 DPS 更高一些。我猜可能是根据武器来决定。看一下这个戒指呢。这个就是非常的钢丝林那了，增加换枪速度30%，然后10%的上弹速度也是。这等于是如果我配合在一起的话，应该还可以。但是我记得好像是这个技能，这个技能是你激活的时候是增加换枪速度50%，然后你换枪之后是自动上弹，就等于是如果你拿着那种可能是只有1发弹药的武器，然后配上这几个护符的话，应该是非常的高效。但现在我这种类似于是一个就是单发伤害比较高的一个步枪的东西，我基本上可能还是我的想法还是就是叠一些爆头弱点特效的一些伤害，然后基本上能就是努力让敌人是能一下给秒掉，可能会更好。 目前感觉上我这个伤害还够。总之就先不换了，至少我应该是获得这2个新的护符，还是非常非常有帮助的。还有什么？应该是有一些新的这个升级，可能是没有，就是它只是现在是从加，就是原来是+3，现在是升到了+4，应该是没有新的全新的东西，好像是没有获得。我估计就这个样子了。别的还有什么东西吗？这期真的就是听了一整期的故事啊。别的好像也是没了啊。我记得应该是这个腐化的水晶，应该是用来升我的那个枪的另外一个，这是 mutator 好像叫，不是这么着。这么看，应该是升级这个的。就估计等我攒到10个之后，可能是找一个给它升满。然后我的武器是不是可以升级了？可以了。还差一点，不过先这样。这边这个升级也比较贵，我之前一直想一枪把那个地上那个，就是类似于这个囊给打爆，但是我发现好像也没有什么太大作用，我就不升了。我再确认一下，没有新的东西吧？这个是之前也是那个上一个 BOSS 的东西，这是很早之前的东西，应该是没了。可以。这些 NPC 应该也是有些对话，但是我觉得就先不管了。这期呢，我觉得这个对话已经是非常非常多了，觉得暂时就不太想听了。也算是比较特殊的一期吧，相当于是什么都没有战斗内容，就一直在听故事。不过倒是也挺有意思。咱们看一下接下来去哪儿。这个是之前听故事的那个地儿。哦，这边还有这个 Blood Moon 也是，就等于是这个是前进方向，这个地儿应该有一个门，然后Expanding Glade， 我去传送一下，是不是会更快吗？另外你
The road brings you so swiftly back to me, sweet beast. The moon is power, beast. A superior moon is potent. A blood moon, infinitely more so. The moon hunts close to Yeisha. When he does, his pull on both the tides and your mortal instincts is more intense. And when the Lady Sun joins, the concoction is cosmic. The ancients called it the wounded brightness. The blood moon heralds the beginning of an end. None know. It changes from age to age, but it is always something big, sweet beast. The blood moon promises a show of shows. Now, have I yet sated your hunger for knowledge, or is there more you would ask? May the doe's eye stay ever open, and your steps ever fleet.
可以，总之是跟你确认一下，没有新的内容了。这就等于是我现在能想起来的是，这个地方有他说的这个 Blood Moon， 是相当于是我可以是 farm 这个东西，好像是在这个祭坛。这个祭坛是可以 farm 上东西，然后我接下来前进方向是这边，我估计是我传送一下。看一下从这个门出去是不是能到达我想去的那个地儿呢？是，可以。那我觉得这期就是比较奇怪了，相当于是这一整期没有战斗内容，全在听故事，包括之后出来是跟这个人也是要听那个故事。总之就先这样子吧。我估计我也是会不出意外的话，我会在这期视频的这个至少标题上可能也是特意的提一下，就希望如果大家觉得没兴趣的话，是可以直接是跳过。下期我们是再回来继续我们这边的探索。总之是这么一个样子。那这期呢就录这儿了，也是相当喜欢，我们下期见。